Hi, and welcome to Infertility Unfiltered, where fertility experts and warriors are joining forces to provide you with tips, information, inspiration, lessons, and all of the things so that you can take back control of your life right now and get your baby on board. Hi, I'm Jennifer Robertson, and today we are really blessed to be joined with Sarah Holland. Now, Sarah Holland is a fertility EFT coach and the founder of Fertile Mindset. She pioneered using cutting-edge technique of EFT specifically for fertility support and has helped thousands of people negotiate the emotional rollercoaster of fertility issues. And today we are talking EFT tapping. What is it and what benefits it has for fertility? Also, Sarah is going to do us the honor of demonstrating the EFT tapping, especially for you as well. So thank you so much for joining us, Sarah Holland.
Thank you, Jennifer. Really lovely to be here on your YouTube channel. Thank you so much for the invitation.
No problem at all. Now, before we get stuck into the EFT tapping, do you just want to tell our audience just a little bit about yourself and what got you down this path?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief because I could talk forever. It's a long journey. But yeah, I've always had an interest in fertility. I'd always worked in fertility for a couple of decades. I began working as a reflexologist and I became very interested in the emotional side. I could see that that was just as important as the physical side, but wasn't being given nearly as much attention. So I learned an amazing technique called EFT, which is what we're here to talk about. I started using it with fertility clients instantly and seeing amazing results, amazing reduction in their stress levels, how they were able to keep going longer on their journey, open to more solutions, supporting themselves better. You know, it made a massive difference in so many areas. And I decided to specialize in that, using EFT for fertility. At the same time, I decided to try for a baby myself. I was learning a lot about fertility. It felt like the right time in my life to have a child as well. And I quickly realized that I had fertility problems because I knew so much about fertility by then. So it took us over 9 years to create our family, which is now 2 boys of 12 and 7. And they did come to us both through natural conception with some assistance and support, slight bit of medical, a lot of natural, and then second time round we adopted. So I've been through various paths personally, as well as, probably seeing every possible fertility path through my clients as well over those years. So it's fascinating. And I think there's always so much more potential and possibility than people realise, not only in how they can get pregnant, but also how strong they can be and how resilient and resourceful and creative and how they can turn around this experience of their fertility journey.
Absolutely. And that's what I love what you do as well. It provides an additional option. So something that they can do. So do you just want to tell us a little bit about EFT tapping?
Sure. So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, but as you said, it is sometimes just called tapping or meridian tapping. And it uses the meridian system in the body, similar and the same as used in acupuncture, which most people are very familiar with when they're on a fertility journey. The difference with EFT, though, is that it is a Western technique that brought together the Eastern wisdom of Chinese medicine alongside Western psychology. And it came under this new umbrella of medicine called energy psychology, where we're supporting the mindset, supporting the thoughts, emotions, by tapping into literally the energy system. So very briefly, what the idea behind EFT is and why it works so well is that any negative emotions we experience, so anything that isn't comfortable, healthy, isn't what our mind and body would want us to be experiencing, those negative emotions are caused by a disruption in our body's energy system. So that's a disruption in our meridian system. And what we do with EFT, which we'll demonstrate in a moment, is we tap on each of the meridian endpoints of all the major meridians in the body to send an impulse down each of the lines to rebalance it while we're in the moment with whatever the stress, the challenge, the issue is. And it's rebalancing our reaction in the moment so that we can let go, literally emotional freedom techniques, be free of the emotion that we didn't need, and get back in touch with actually what is our most natural, supportive and healthy mindset and healthy perspective to look at this challenge. And every day I'm just amazed, and the women I support every day are amazed at how differently they can look at the same challenge. You know, nothing has potentially changed to what they're facing, but their mindset, their perspective changes so much that they suddenly feel so much lighter, stronger, you know, more motivated naturally and positively, rather than forcing themselves to feel positive or hopeful, which can be a shaky place to be, can't it? Trying to, you know, get up to that positive mindset just by making yourself say positive words can feel kind of unnatural, but if it comes from within, then it's just how we're meant to feel. You know, it feels authentic.
Absolutely. So balancing the words with the energy, with absolutely everything, it's all combined, and that's the result that you get. It's amazing. Yeah. So did you want to jump in and give us a demonstration?
Yeah, I'd love to. So there is a lot to EFT. There's a lot to learn to make sure that we do it correctly. And there are certain rules that we follow, but I'm just going to go through it, teaching some of that bit while we actually use it as well. So I'd love to invite your viewers to have a try with this technique, even if they've never used it before and they're not really sure if or how it could work. There's nothing to lose by trying it. What I would say though is that anyone using any kind of new emotional support technique, including EFT, if they are under the care of any doctor or medical caregiver for any psychiatric disorder, that they do consult first, you know, to make sure that this technique is suitable. And of course, not to stop taking any prescribed medication, even if they feel amazing after using this technique. So there's a lot more to kind of learn about it as well. But what I wanted to start today, because I think this is a really relevant topic for most people on a fertility journey at some point, is looking at overwhelm and looking at that state that we get into when we have so many ideas, opinions, options to work through, which when you're any time on a fertility journey, I think you can quickly hit that wall of overwhelm, because everyone has a solution, don't they? You know, it's like, well, did you try this and did you try that? And then you consult a few different clinics and they have different ideas, read a few books, read a few websites, go into fertility message boards, and before you know it, there's this whole mixture of different things that you could potentially do to support your fertility, and not knowing which one is suitable, which one should I do first, should I try and do as many as possible or just look at a few, and how do I choose that few? And I see people literally getting stuck with that feeling and frozen and not doing anything, or trying to do everything and not doing anything well, you know, not dedicating enough time to acupuncture or taking the supplements or whatever it might be, or charting their cycles, you know, and feeling very scattered and overwhelmed with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if most people, you know, watching this now have felt that at some point. And it's not a failing. It's not, you know, we're not criticizing that mindset at all. It's completely understandable that you would get to that place when you want to be that sponge. You want to absorb everything out there about overcoming infertility. But there has to be a point where you make those decisions about actually what is right for me, and what do I need to know to make sure I'm making the right decisions. And we can only do that kind of clear thinking and decision making if we get rid of the overwhelm, I think. So that's what I'd like to tap on. Does that sound okay, Jennifer?
Sounds absolutely brilliant. And this is something that, you know, you can use at any point in time. You know, it's not just for fertility either.
No, all of my clients use it for all kinds of things, and they're actually quite amazed what they can use it on. And I recommend they try it on anything. And a lot of people use it at work, or if they've had an argument with someone and they're feeling stressed. You know, there can be lots of situations where we notice our stress levels peak, and yeah, usually we don't know what to do with that. But if you have a tool literally at your fingertips that you can help bring down that stress, it feels amazing, so empowering.
Awesome, I can't wait.
So shall we get started? So what I'm going to do is take everyone through 3 simple steps. The first step is to choose and notice what we're going to be addressing and what you're going to be tapping on. So I invite you right now just to notice if you're feeling overwhelmed. How many different thoughts are going on in your mind? What do you spend your time thinking about, especially with regards to your fertility, if that is your main focus? And yeah, even like list a few in your mind of different things, and just get clear on if there is a state of overwhelm or just too much going on, too busy mind. And what I'd ask them to do is also grade how strong that feels on a scale of 0 to 10. So 0 would be, I'm not overwhelmed at all, actually. I feel completely clear. I can make good decisions. I feel in control of my thoughts. And 10 would be, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't even know where to begin. So just measuring on that scale, first of all, where they might be with their state of overwhelm. And there's no wrong or right numbers. It's just purely for you to measure where you are. Notice if there's any emotion there as well, like a frustration or a stress, or, you know, can you name the emotion that you're feeling? And then I'm going to take you through doing some tapping. So the first point we tap on is on the side of the hand here. Feel free to join in as well, Jen, if you'd like to, and then they'll be able to see 2 of us. So this point on the hand here is the karate chop point. It's just halfway between the bottom of your little finger and the start of your wrist. So in the center there on the side of your hand with 2 fingertips. And we say a setup phrase now. I'll say this for you all to repeat after me. And you do this setup phrase 3 times. Okay, so we say these words: even though I'm feeling overwhelmed, because my mind is so busy with so many possible ideas and solutions, and I'm not sure what to do with this. I accept this feeling, and I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, so that's 1. We're going to do 2 more. Even though I am feeling overwhelmed right now, my mind feels so full that I can't think clearly. Maybe I'm so overwhelmed that I don't know what to do first. I acknowledge this feeling. I understand why it's there. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Okay, 1 more setup before we move on. So even though I am feeling overwhelmed, my mind feels so full of different ideas and fertility solutions, I don't know where to begin. I acknowledge this feeling. I choose to be kind to myself. And I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, so that's our setup part done. Thank you for tapping along there as well, Jennifer. So that setup is really to acknowledge what we're feeling, and having that piece about accepting ourselves just help us overcome any self-sabotaging behaviors, any kind of belief that we might want to stay stuck or don't believe that we can move on. You know, we're acknowledging where we are and that we accept ourselves anyway. So it's a really powerful start. So the next point is on top of the head here. I'm just going to guide you through the points as we go. And then we'll go through them probably 2 times. We'll see how it goes. And we're going to just say some words to keep focused on what we're feeling at the time. So tap on this point here on the crown of your head, round in a circle, and say this feeling of overwhelm. And then on the inside end of your eyebrow with your 2 fingertips, or it could be 2 eyebrows, whatever you prefer, this feeling of overwhelm. And then the side of the eye, just on the side of your eye on the bone there at the corner, feeling so overwhelmed right now. I'll just repeat those words. And then we go under the eye, feeling so overwhelmed in my mind. Under the nose. I have so many thoughts and ideas in my mind. On the chin. I'm feeling overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. Collarbone. If you just use your whole hand here, just under the collarbone. Feeling overwhelmed and it's keeping me stuck. And then you go under the arm, just in line with your bra. Feeling overwhelmed and I don't know what to do next. Back to the top of the head. Acknowledging this feeling of overwhelm. Keep going around the points. This busy, overfull mind. Side of the eye. It's really hard to get my thoughts clear and decide what to do. I wonder what I could do to decrease this overwhelm. I'm open to letting go of anything I don't need. I wonder how I could bring some order to my mind. Collarbone there, acknowledging the state of overwhelm and understanding why it's there. But I wonder what the best approach would be for me now. I'm open to all possibilities and I'm curious to see what else could happen. Okay, so we just went round twice there, but we'll stop and take a deep breath down to our bellies. And release your breath. Have a sip of water as well if you have it nearby. It's good to keep hydrated as you tap. As with all energy techniques, it works so much better if we keep ourselves hydrated. So now that was the second part, that was the actual application of EFT. And the third stage, and this is really important as well, but often gets forgotten when we tap by ourselves, but it's really important to remember, is our testing and checking in to see how that worked for you. And it also helps you to see if there is more to do. So it helps you keep track of your results, which I think is really important. It's something that kind of puts you in the driver's seat here, so you understand how the technique is working for you. So in order to test, what I recommend you do is go right back to where you started, right? I was thinking about how overwhelmed I was, and I brought up that picture in my mind of everything there was to do. And I'd love you to do that again. Just tune into where you are, whatever you thought about at the start, think about it again and see what your instant reaction is. See whether any thoughts or feelings have changed, or whether the self-talk around it has changed. And also importantly, how high that level of overwhelm feels, and grade it on the 0 to 10 again. Remember, 10 is the highest, the most overwhelmed, the most uncomfortable, and 0 is the calm, neutral, clear thinking space that you'd like to get to. So see where you are on that scale now. Now, 3 things can happen with the scale, which I'll just quickly go through. The first thing is it could stay the same. Which means probably we haven't been as specific enough. You know, you need to kind of really get into what it is with the overwhelm. Like, is it particular things that are really playing on your mind? So that's one thing that can happen, not very often. Sometimes it does get a little bit higher on the first round of tapping. And that could be showing you that just saying those words and finally allowing yourself to connect with it has just brought it more to mind and allowed those feelings to come forward. And that's most common when it's something that we've really put to one side and we've thought it's not important, I don't have the time for that, no one wants to hear about my stress or whatever, and we effectively put it into a box and shut the lid. So once we allow ourselves, which is healthy, you know, to connect with those emotions, it can go up slightly. And if that happens, what I recommend is doing another quick round immediately, and which obviously you're going to have this video and you could go back and do another round because you're at that peak opportunity to resolve it and rebalance yourself. So if it's neither of those, or you're doing a second round because it's stayed the same or gone up slightly, then there's the third option, which I hope all of you can get to, which is when it comes down. And that feels amazing when that happens. You feel like you're getting more back towards your most comfortable and natural way of dealing with whatever the challenge is. And you might notice that your self-talk changes around it as well. You know, you start to kind of come up with ideas, or you start to speak more kindly to yourself rather than saying, oh, you shouldn't be feeling this way. And, you know, we speak to ourselves in our head in a way that we would never speak to a friend. So it's nice to see how if we get back to something that is supportive, how differently that voice can change as well. So we're aiming to get as close to 0, but if when you go back and you measure in, you're anywhere above a 0, even if it's a 2 or a 1 or a 0.5, whatever, it's still a really good idea to do another tapping round. And that's often where I say kind of the magic happens. It's like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how good I could actually feel in this challenging situation. I didn't realize how confident or how resourceful or creative I could feel, you know. So even if it feels impossible to get to a 0, I'd always encourage you to do that one extra round of tapping. If it's already going down, then it shows that there is potential here, and it's the other side of that 0 can be just amazing. And that's where I like to support people to get to, if at all possible. It's wonderful to see.
Awesome.
How did you find that tapping along there, Jennifer?
Yeah, just the tapping and me not actually saying anything. Like, it was still really relaxing, and I think it's you know, for a lot of things, it's just the act of being still and being in the moment, and you can't really be thinking of anything else while you're tapping. Like, you're actually in the moment, and I think that's really important regardless of anything else. But yeah, it's almost like affirmations or mantras, or, you know, all of those different things that you're actually acknowledging and bringing it to the surface. So I love everything about that. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming in here. Now, if people want to get in contact with you, how do they do that?
There's lots of ways they can get in contact. I'm on everywhere on social media under Fertile Mindset. You'll be able to find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on LinkedIn as well. You can find me under Sarah Holland, Fertile Mindset. But my best place to find me is at my website, fertilemindset.com. And specifically, I do also have a free webinar coming up very soon, which if you've got kind of curiosity now about this technique, and especially how to now use it for your fertility, the much bigger picture now of your whole fertility journey, I have a webinar coming up on the 16th of July. It will be recorded as well, and that will be available to register at fertilemindset.com/webinar. Just a really simple place to go and find that and register your free place. And what I'm going to be doing there is going through the 4 steps to fertile mindset mastery. So that is looking at using this technique, but then exploding it to the whole of your fertility journey, all the different emotional aspects that come up, going through a structure that I've created myself that brings amazing results. So I'm going to be guiding through using EFT specifically to get, you know, the best possible results, because that's what we want to do. I know people are, you know, very focused on time on their journey, whether it's their age or whether it's how long they've been trying or whatever you know, time limit they perceive. And we want to get results as quickly as possible, and that includes results on the mindset, and feel supported and comfortable while we might well go into fertility treatment or just taking that next step and just facing another cycle. You know, it's good to prioritize the emotional well-being. So all of that will be provided in the webinar. So thank you for allowing me to share that, Jennifer, and
No
continue
problem.
supporting people.
Look, it sounds absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for joining us, Sarah Holland, and thank you for joining us as well. So if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a little love, give it a like, share it to your friends, and make sure you subscribe to this channel as well, because there are so many more interviews with so many more amazing people just like Sarah as part of the Infertility Unfiltered series. So thanks for watching.